Welcome to day 3. I am really excited to share this information with you. What a week. I feel like I could do this every single day. I love doing this. I hope that you've really enjoyed coming to these trainings and that you're getting a lot out of them. Today's all about emotional brain training. So the missing piece to sustainable weight loss, to lowering blood sugar. I literally think everyone can use emotional brain training. It's just not stuff that we're taught. Let's get through the housekeeping. Day 1, we covered why prediabetes is not pre-problem. Day 2, we dug way into the nutrition, and then we also dug pretty deep into the internal tug of war that happens between knowing what to do and then not being consistent with doing it. Today is all about emotional brain training. So really quick, I'm not going to get super deep into the science, but I do think it's helpful to understand the biochemistry behind stress circuits and joy circuits and the 8 major hormones that get dysregulated when you're in stress. And then we'll go do a brain map with someone to identify your rewiring opportunities. And then at the end, we will learn more about our Zivli program. So it's an online course and coaching program. We only open enrollment twice a year, and we're accepting 100 people into this cohort. We start in January. So the deadline to sign up is next Friday or until those 100 spots are filled. Same structure for today, that we're going to do a little bit of EBT stuff, not as much of the strategy, just the hormone education and the brain map. It's a really, really good exercise for all of us to do. And then I'm just going to share my screen with you and walk you through the Zivli program so you have full clarity and understanding. And then at the last little bit, I'll answer questions. So there might be some leftover questions from the boot camp. There might be mostly Zivli program questions is what I'll be addressing. And just as a reminder, I have it, I think, on the next slide. Not yet, it'll come up. Um, First of all, my goals, but my reminder was just ask questions anytime in the chat. And my team's collecting them. And then all of the answers to the questions that don't get answered live in the chat, we're going to answer them in the like at the bottom of the replay page. So it's really important to us that you feel supported. If you don't get your question answered, you can always email support@zivli.com if you want a direct response. Okay, 3 goals for this training. It's very simple. I really want this to be the best like free 3-day training that you've ever been to. There's so many like webinars and stuff like that out there, and I hope that this one has been different and experiential and that you've learned a lot and gotten a lot of value from it. Number 2, I hope that you love it so much that you share it with a friend and family member. Beth, if you could just drop the link to, it's like launch.zivli.com/bootcamp. If you want to send that link to a friend or family member, they can register to watch the replay videos as well. And then number 3, my goal is to have 100 people join our Zivli program. We want to help 100 people reverse their insulin resistance in 2026, at least for that cohort. So the next time we open it won't be till July. Okay, a couple helpful tips. The workbook, I did post that right when I got into the meeting chat today, the link to the workbook. If you join after me, I'm not sure if that link is still there, so Beth can drop that in. We will be filling it out today. We're filling out that brain map together. Please remove distractions as much as you can and engage in the chat. Be an active participant in the chat because we want to build that sense of community and support. Okay, in case you weren't here for day 1 and 2, this is just a really quick overview of me with different cute pictures of my kids because they bring me joy. I'm a farmer's wife from Nebraska. Dawson's 7, Leah's 5, Logan is 8 months. He is still sick. Justin is still home. Thankfully, it's wintertime, so he is not harvesting and can watch this little cute guy while I'm working. I'm a physical therapist by trade, specialized in geriatrics. I got way too tired of being reactive and treating disease and seeing the decline in mobility and independence. And so I wanted to be on the preventative side of things. So I started my own business, and it grew from there. And yeah, Zivli's been around since 2018. It means to live a low insulin and inflammation lifestyle. Nothing that we teach is a diet or an exercise plan. It's really about a way of living. And I've grown to over 150,000 YouTube subscribers talking about insulin resistance and mindset. And that's been a joy too. It's always kind of fun to get connected to people through the Ethernet. I don't know how it works, but I'm glad it works. Okay, so some important dates. We've kind of touched on this already. The boot camp, this is the last boot camp day. The replay is going to be posted this afternoon. You can watch all of those replays until next Friday. And then there's a bonus training on Tuesday, December 9th, same time It's via Zoom. It's about emotional brain training for sustainable weight loss. I'm going to review a couple of the key concepts, but it's going to be very much tailored towards the holidays and cravings and like teaching you a couple more of the EBT tools that we haven't reviewed in this boot camp. And what else? Yeah, we already talked about that. You can use HSA and FSA funds for our Zivley program. You would want to get a letter of medical necessity from your physician for that, just for your records. And that's it. Let's get to it. So, the one thing that I really think is helpful to understand regarding emotional brain training is that your stress, your fear, your past trauma, past negative memories and negative experiences, they all live in this place called the amygdala in your brain, in your emotional brain. The amygdala is your stress center. And so these circuits form without your permission and they fire without your permission. And what happens before emotional brain training is you get stressed out and then you spiral down and you experience more stress, hormone chaos, which we'll review, and then ultimately weight gain. And then after rewiring your brain with EBT, your physiology and behavior change. When you receive a stress stimulus, you say, oh, I'm not at brain state one. This must be a wire. All right, I have the tools for this. So you spiral up, you use the app to spiral up. You're going to experience joy. So you literally turn your stress into joy. That changes your biochemistry, which changes your behavior. And it's very interesting how fast the tools work. I told this story yesterday or the day before about recently we were around a bunch of family and some people were stressing me out because they don't really parent their kids. So I was parenting their kids and I'm like, I got my own kids to worry about here. I just got to get out of here. And we went back to the hotel and I really wanted chocolate. And I thought, well, if I'm craving that, that means I'm not at brain state one where I'm eating for purpose because, that's definitely pleasure or comfort for me if I'm eating chocolate. And I said, well, let me spiral up about it. And so I called some of my connection buddies and I did a cycle. And by the time I was done, I had zero desire for the chocolate because I created my own internal dopamine. This is all about creating internal coping solutions that change your biochemistry because the behavior is just the tail end of a circuit. You want to change the behavior, you got to change the circuit in your emotional brain, and that requires emotional brain strategies. These are emotional reflexes. You cannot stop your stress from happening, but you can learn the skills to cope with it in a productive, meaningful way. So this chart is going to go over the hormone regulation that happens when the stress circuits fire and you spiral down and how it contributes to weight gain. So GLP-1, I'm sure you've heard of that by now. That is what Ozempic and Wegovy, Mounjaro, those are going to be mimicking or stimulating more GLP-1 to help you feel full so that you eat less food and lose weight. When you're stressed out, GLP-1 goes down. In effect, you don't feel as full. So you're likely to eat more food when you're stressed out. It's like that signal in the brain. It's not working. The next one is PYY. This is just another fullness hormone. It also goes down. So both of those go down in stress. One of the reasons why I think it'd be interesting if you look at like calories at breakfast, calories at lunch, calories, at dinner and after. I'm guessing the calories at dinner and after are significantly more than the calories earlier in the day when you're not as stressed out, when your satiety is a little bit better regulated. The next one is ghrelin. This one is your hunger hormone. It's going to increase your appetite and it increases in stress. It's called stress eating and emotional eating for a reason. We don't call this thinking eating. It doesn't happen in your thinking brain. Leptin signals fat burning, and this one goes down. So you're going to be storing fat, not burning fat when you're in stress. Cortisol increases. That's going to increase, like preferentially increases your carb cravings. I don't know if I talk about it in here. I think it's called NPY, and it's a substance that increases when cortisol increases. It makes you want the starchy and the sugary and the salty stuff. So you're not imagining that. But cortisol also preferentially increases belly fat. Now, this is one of the hormones that rises, especially after menopause, which is why women tend to see not only more body fat, but body fat redistribution around the midsection. Sometimes women might also say it's getting harder, it's getting more firm, like you can't grab it with your hands anymore. It's that visceral type of belly fat. That's cortisol to blame. Next is dopamine. This is your feel-good chemical and it makes you happy. So when you're stressed out, that decreases. And cortisol and dopamine have a really tight relationship. Cortisol essentially drains dopamine. When you're stressed out, it's very hard to feel good. This is just a chronic stress teeter-totter. When cortisol is high, dopamine and serotonin, the hormones that make you feel good and feel relaxed, go down. The other hormone that goes down here is melatonin. So this is totally off track, but really interesting. Melatonin is also on a teeter-totter with cortisol. So that's why I really suggest wearing amber colored blue light blocking glasses. Beth can put a link to them. Sorry, Beth, I'm having you put so many links in. The orange ones, blue light blockers. What that does is it blocks the blue light from the TV screen, from your phone, from your laptop or your iPad. That blue light increases cortisol. Like it's supposed to do that to make us feel awake. But the blue light that we get from technology screens in the evening is the same emission as about the sun at high noon to keep us awake and alert. So if you want to have better sleep, block the blue light at night with orange glasses. They're like $30 on Amazon. Get yourself an early Christmas present or a stocking stuffer for yourself. Because what that does, it's going to block the cortisol from coming up so that melatonin can then come up. Okay. Cortisol's high, melatonin's low. If I'm sleeping bad, I know I'm stressed out about something because my melatonin can't come up. Okay. This is just another depiction of this low dopamine, right? So if we're stressed out, that's going to flush out dopamine from the system. You're not going to feel good. So it's very common if you don't have the emotional brain training tools as an internal solution, it's very common to seek an external solution that raises your dopamine. The problem is that this is like a sledgehammer of dopamine. And so it's going to make you feel really good. And then when it comes off, you're going to have a crash. And you might actually, I have like mental changes after I have a bunch of sugar. I feel a little bit depressed. I feel like kind of down on myself and not in a shameful way. Just like biochemically, I can tell that I'm different. So this is a really interesting picture of your brain, the reward center on sugar versus cocaine. Lights up the reward center. Yeah. There's a reason it's really hard to eat less sugar. There's been studies that show on mice that show mice would much prefer the sugar water than the drug water. So yeah, got to reduce our sugar. And there's a lot of good eating strategies and lifestyle strategies, but I really, really think that the emotional brain training is tremendously helpful to get to the root cause of those food wires and the ancillary mood, love, and body wires that serve as feeder wires for your food wire. So, for example, um, anything that causes stress will increase the likelihood that you're going to have food cravings and overeat because your dopamine is down. You want an external solution. So if you have a mood wire, like my mood wire was I get one, like a little bit, I get my power from being angry. Like sometimes I would snap at my kids. I don't want to snap at my kids. I don't normally snap at my kids, but when I was stressed, I did. And it's like, why do I keep doing that? Well, it's an intergenerational wire. That's how I saw sometimes my parents handle their anger. So I learned that. And I had to realize I can't get my power from being angry. That hurts the relationship. So there's different ways then to find that circuit, clear clutter around it, rewire it. But I get every time I snapped at my kids, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to go to the kitchen and eat. So that's how the mood wire can be a feeder wire to the food wire. Or love, for example. If you have a merge wire with a partner and you're overly attuned to their needs to the point that you neglect yourself, unintentionally usually, or you have a distancing wire, usually people have both, like they merge and then they get so tired of that that they distance. That can cause some serious mental stress that can trigger the food wire. Okay. The other thing is body wires. So if you're constantly judging your body or you're feeling bad about your body, that can increase your mental stress and trigger the food wire as well. So we teach you how to, first of all, just find these wires, right, with practice and self-regulation and coaching. But really rewiring those four big wires is the best bet to end the emotional eating because those are going to be the most common triggers and feeders for your food circuit. So we usually start with the food circuits. Like, for example, some of mine where I get my comfort from eating carbs and sweets to the point that I'm physically uncomfortable. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I eat for comfort to the point that I'm physically uncomfortable? But that's what my emotional brain said to do, so that's what I did. All right, just to review, at brain state one and two, you're feeling great or you're feeling good. Your dopamine is going to be higher. At brain state three, four, or five, your dopamine is going to be a little bit lower, and that's when you're going to be more likely to seek external solutions. So, my hope is that during this holiday season, you start to think in terms of EBT, emotional brain training, brain states. When you find yourself reaching for the cookie, reaching for something, ask yourself, what's my number right now? Why am I eating this? Am I eating this for comfort, for pleasure, for love, for safety? Is something or someone stressing me out right now? It's a really interesting pattern just to get into. Like when you're reaching for foods that you know you don't want to eat, ask yourself, what's my brain state and why am I eating it? Not in a judgmental way, just in a curious way to build awareness. Okay, back to the chart. We're almost done here. Serotonin, we kind of talked about that with the dopamine and the teeter-totter. That's your calming chemical. It reduces your appetite, and in stress, it's going to be decreased. So we're going to want to eat more. And then lastly, insulin, fat storage hormone, blood sugar regulating hormone. It increases hunger. So it's increased. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be more likely to store fat. And over time, high levels of insulin lead to insulin resistance, which causes the prediabetes and the diabetes and cardiovascular disease and increases your risk for all the stuff I saw in geriatric PT, which is why I'm laser focused on helping you prevent and reverse insulin resistance because that kills the most health birds with one stone. Okay. I highlight this one again just to remind you that the weight loss medications, I'm not against them, but I do think they should be used prudently um, under the supervision of a physician, ideally not long term. And it's very, very important to make the lifestyle changes in conjunction with the medications so that the weight that you lose on them, if you lose weight, is more likely to stay off. Weight loss medications affect this hormone on a direct basis, right? Like if you eat less, your insulin will go down too. But there's still seven other hormones. So it doesn't get to the root cause, all right? It might be a tool, it might be a bridge, but just recognize you can't circumvent the required lifestyle changes and mindset work that it takes to really get and stay healthy. And it's a blessing. It's really a blessing to be able to do this. It's a blessing to you and it's a blessing to your family. So I made this chart to show you what happens when you learn emotional brain training, when you have joy circuits firing instead of stress circuits, and when you're living the low inflammation and the low insulin lifestyle that we teach. And it's comprehensive, right? It's your nutrition, it's when you eat, it's how you move, it's how you sleep. And it's not like A to Z. We're going to meet you where you're at. If you're at A, we're going to say, okay, this is your next best move. It cannot be a cookie cutter approach because you can't stick with those and they don't address any of the root causes. So when you follow our Zivley lifestyle and use EBT, that's going to lead to natural weight loss and hormone regulation of all of these 8 major hormones, which is pretty cool. Okay, lighter than yesterday, right? Much lighter on the strategy. We're going to get to the EBT stuff now. Before I get there, do we have any questions on the stuff that I just covered? And then we can move into the EBT stuff. Yes, I know, Kathleen. New York is just kind of a beast in and of itself. It's like they have their little mini FDA. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay, Beth is answering a lot of these questions. I'm going to throw the question out there just in case I missed someone. Barb, yes, this can help with constant stress. Absolutely. Barb, I would love if there's time, um, just to I want you to do the check-in. So the check-in is something that you can do, which we're going to do together. In day two, I printed off the verbal instructions for the check-in under the notes. Print that off, do that 5 or 10 times a day. That's going to just naturally help calm your stress. It's kind of like the first bookend to any EBT tool is a check-in. Yeah. Carol, what about boredom eating? Intend to eat when I'm bored. So I try to stay busy. Yeah, boredom can be a form of stress, actually. And sometimes if it's, I'd really think about that and it'd be fun to do a cycle about it. So when you're doing a cycle, it's like, well, the situation is I'm bored and I eat. And then we would work through each of the steps to uncover, well, why is that? Yeah. Okay. Did I miss anybody who wanted to do a brain map? If you wanted to do brain map, I know it's like 50 comments up. Or Beth, you can come off of mute and let me know. Otherwise, we'll do it with Brenda.
I didn't see anyone else pop up for a brain map.
Awesome. All right, Brenda, let's do it. And you can unmute yourself, I think.
Okay.
Okay, now I want everybody else to follow along. This is a really, really powerful exercise. All right. Before we do that, everyone's going to go through a check-in, Brenda. So we'll take them through a check-in. We're going to identify the brain state. They'll put it in the chat, and then we're going to do the brain map together. Does that sound good? Okay. All right. So if you will, please turn your attention. Let's pull this up so you guys can see the check-in. Please turn your attention to your body and your breathing. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, or in any way that feels really comforting and comfortable to you. Again, take a deep breath in and let it out. And remember, you can return and do this every hour if you want, every half an hour. It feels so good. Go ahead and put your shoulders back and your chin up and your chest out. Bring a warm smile to your face, like you're thinking about someone that you love, and crinkle the corners of your eyes. And warmly observe yourself. See yourself in the present moment just as you are. No judgment. Just feel a wave of compassion for yourself. You might want to put your hand on your heart. And then ask yourself, what's my number? Am I at a 1, feeling great, present with a glow? Am I at a 2, feeling good, present but no glow? 3, a little stressed. 4, definitely stressed. Or 5, stressed out. Take all the time you need. Lastly, deepen that secure attachment to yourself, that sanctuary inside of you, full of peace and power. And appreciate your unending capacity for love, compassion, and ultimately joy. All right, we've connected with ourselves so that we can better connect to each other. Go ahead and type your brain state in the chat for me, and I will see where everyone is at today. Some 3s, some 2s. Remember, there's no bad brain state. There's things that we can glean from every single one of them. 2s, 4s, 3s, great. Okay, let's get started. Everybody pull the brain map up. And I have it on my computer, so I'm going to do that one. Okay. This is just a really lovely way to start your EBT practice and your EBT experience. It's kind of like a self-inventory, if you will. So, Brenda, you're off mute. Hello. Thank you so much for volunteering for this.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what was your brain state today? What did you identify today?
I couldn't believe this. I got a 2 and then right after that a 3. So I'm taking, say, midway between that. I do the first number I got real fast and then 3 after that.
Yeah, so like a two and a half or a three. Yep, you can
Yeah.
have half numbers for sure. I'm going to move that down there. Okay. So what would you say your normal stress set point is? So the set point is like the thermostat. Where are you normally with your stress?
Uh, how often are you willing? Okay.
Yeah, this one right here. So what's your most common stress level? Is it
Oh, I
very low
see.
stress, low
Yeah,
stress?
moderate stress.
Okay, so a three is kind of like your normal here.
Yeah.
Okay, just gonna circle that. Oh, it always does that to me. I don't know why. I'll underline it. Okay. To raise your set point, you're going to use your thinking brain to spiral up. Again, I taught you how to use the Spiral Up Light app. It takes like 1 to 3 minutes. There is a different version of the app, but this is a beautiful way to start. The other thing that you can do is collect joy points. And if we have time, we should talk about some joy points. Joy points are like thinking of a happy memory, or my favorite is like, I have two favorites, sensory pleasures. Like you're drinking a cup of coffee, but how often do we take that for granted? Like feeling that sensory pleasure of taste or experiencing a sensory pleasure of a lovely smell or a touch or a sight or hearing music. So recognizing that there's joy all around us, and we're just going to go about collecting moments of joy. Um, my other one is it's called What's My Reward? Everything that you're doing during the day, you can link to a higher purpose reward. So, sanctuary, authenticity, vibrancy, integrity, intimacy, spirituality, and freedom. Like my reward for being here right now is integrity. I said I was going to do it, so I'm doing it. My reward for having a healthy breakfast was vibrancy. So, those are different ways to collect moments of joy. How many moments of joy are you willing to collect a day?
Oh, at least 10.
Great. Good. That's the prescription. So the 5 is technically like a warm-up dose. 10 is the standard prescription for EBT, 10 moments of joy a day. And then the reason is that breaks up the stress cycle. Like when you're really focused on creating joy and doing it 10 times a day and being very intentional, you will create it. But based on principles of neuroplasticity, it takes repetition and intensity to change your brain. And so we want repetition and intensity of practice to learn the emotional brain training skills. That's really how they're going to be most effective. Okay.
Could I
What?
ask a
Oh,
question? You
yes,
you
please.
mentioned
Yep.
like I love chocolate, but if I love it, wouldn't it cause me to want it more, which, it's got so many, especially a milk chocolate has
Yeah.
so that wouldn't be a good one?
So that's a really good point. And food can be a sensory pleasure for sure. And the difference is when you're at brain state one, you can eat any food that you want for pleasure, but recognize some foods might automatically throw you down a brain state notch or two or three or four. So everyone's different. But if you're at brain state one, you can enjoy some dessert and you get pleasure from the dessert, like chocolate, but it is not pleasant to overeat. Does that make sense? And so you
Mhm.
don't.
Right.
Does that
Okay.
make sense? You
Yeah.
can get pleasure from food. You can get pleasure from the taste of food, but it's not like your only source of pleasure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
that was big for me because I'm like, no, food is pleasurable and it still is pleasurable and it can be. But if I'm going to eat something, I really try to get to brain state one before I eat.
Before
And
you
that
do it.
really
Yeah.
helps,
Gotcha.
control the food cravings. Yep.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Of course. So everybody else, as we are going down, I think it's really helpful to fill out your brain map, but then also answer the questions in the chat. Okay. So we've already done the set point. How many moments of joy are you willing to create throughout the day? Put that in the chat. Remember, 10 is the standard dose. You can do like 3 in the morning, 3 at noon, 3 at night, sprinkle one in there throughout the day. You're either doing the cycle tool on the Spiral Up Light app, or you're thinking of a joy point. And I will make a separate handout in the resources to go over all the joy points because they're really fun to do and they're very easy and fast. So that'll be in the resources for the replay. All right, next question. What sources of stress are significant for you right now? So do you have any work stress right now?
Yes.
Okay. Family stress,
No.
financial stress,
Yes.
health-related stress,
Yes.
loss of a loved one,
No.
any transitions like retirement, family member passing, where you have to take on a new role, that kind of thing.
No.
Okay. Any overwhelm?
Yes.
Okay. Any other significant sources of stress for you?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Okay. So everyone, I want you to put your number one source of stress in the chat for me, even though you're probably going to have more than one, just to kind of keep this engaging, put whatever your number one source is in the chat for me. So family, number one is health, loss of a loved one. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, health, a lot of health related stress. Yep. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Nora. Loss of my husband, transition, health. Yeah, we all have stress. Everyone does. That's why I'm like, everybody needs EBT. Yeah. Okay, let's go over this one. So when it's talking about reactive stress, this is a way that we can really find the wires. So finding the food, the mood, the love, and the body wires because we're triggered. It's not like they're going on all the time, but these types of, they call them survival circuits. You don't have to get into the language or the lingo. But these circuits get triggered in stress. So we're going to just underline all that apply. Do you struggle with overeating,
No.
binge eating,
No.
mindless eating?
I don't think so.
Okay, sugar addiction,
Yes.
uh, purging, maybe not if you don't do binging.
I'm not
Um,
sure about over restricting. I'm on a keto. Would that be considered over restricting?
Depends on the person. Yeah. But I know you said that you had a pretty long history of type 2 diabetes. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so keto might be the best metabolic approach for you. And if that's safe and healthy for you psychologically and mentally, then no, I would not consider that over restricting.
Okay.
For me, it would be over restricting because I wouldn't enjoy that, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. Any other food patterns that or like habits that really bother you?
I don't know if this comes under this, but I know that when I'm stressed, and it's not, it like two happen and then a third happen and a fourth happen, and then I can't handle it. And that's when I just go berserk. I really do.
Okay. Like stress eating?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And it's mainly for chocolates. I mean, geez. I don't usually have it, but because it's Christmas time and I have grandkids, I bought them presents. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do. I went and ate a whole bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a circuit there, and so we're not talking about the rewiring process, but these are so good so that you can pick what you would do a cycle about. You would do a cycle about stress eating on chocolate. You would do a cycle about the sugar addiction to figure out why you do what you do. Yep. Okay. And then for your mood, so do you struggle with anxiety?
Uh, yes,
Okay, depression,
yes,
hostility,
no,
worry,
yes,
self-pity,
yes,
okay, shame,
not really.
panic,
No,
numbness,
no.
false highs,
What does that mean?
like probably how you feel after you eat a bunch of chocolate. I don't know. That's
Oh,
how I feel after I eat a bunch of sugar.
yeah, I guess I feel better.
Okay. That's probably not a huge one for you. And then as we're going through this, yeah, Gloria already put in her food, overeating blueberries. Yeah, there's a circuit there. So just go ahead and put in the circuits that, or I would say these are symptoms of circuits. That's the best way to describe what we're identifying here are symptoms of circuits. So put in your food and your mood. Let's go on relationships. So are you overly distant or disengaged in a meaningful relationship?
No.
Okay. Are you overly close or merged?
I think overly close to
Okay.
some of the members of my family.
Sure. And just to kind of for some context, because if it's a really strong merge circuit, you probably don't even recognize that you have it. I had a super duper strong merge circuit to my husband, and that then led to a distancing circuit. So usually the distancing circuits are a little bit easier to identify. And that would look like you feel like you need to escape, you feel like you need to check out, like you snap and you can't take it anymore. Whereas the merging kind of, it looks like you're very, very attuned to the emotional or whatever needs of the other person. And you're going to go above and beyond to meet their needs, even if it makes you miserable.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. So we have a merge circuit. Yep. Um, all right. I'm going to see people just keep participating because this is the time to do the work. Yep. Yeah. Beth used to have overmerged, but still struggle against balancing to have a good marriage. I kid you not, guys. This stuff is like crazy how well it works. We've been married almost 13 years. And, I've prayed about it. I've been prayed over about it. Like I've done counseling through our church. I've done general counseling. And specifically, it was about being resentful during harvest when he had to work so much. And this helped. It fixed it and it fixed it really fast because I got to the circuit and then I could rewire the circuit that was causing me to distance and merge in the first place. And I've heard that from like our Zivley members, for example. I had a really powerful coaching session with one of them, and she said she's been in like a 12-step program for 38 years. Same thing as me. She's prayed, been prayed over, like lots of counseling to just try to survive her marriage. And she'd been doing EBT, collecting lots and lots of joy points. And her husband told her, I'm finally falling in love with the person that I met all those years ago. And it was incredible. So, while this is a physical health-based program, I really believe it's all tied together. Our mental, emotional, spiritual, physical health really does all improve with EBT. So I'm very passionate about it. Okay, how about your body? Do you feel like you have a drive to hold on to weight for protection?
No.
A drive to regain weight to feel safe?
Uh, Not a drive, but I want to feel safe.
Sure. So I'd probably say not then. Judging your body?
No.
Okay. So pretty light on the body circuits. I'm guessing a lot of people here might have more significant body circuits. Yeah, judging my body. Put in some body circuits. So the protection one, just a couple of examples of that. Um, I've had clients before who got unwanted attention when they were younger, like from a man, and then that created a body circuit in them to like hold on to extra weight for emotional protection. That's an example of a protection body circuit. And then judging your body is you're essentially, it's a type of merge circuit, which is really interesting. You're merging with the actual or perceived opinions of someone else, whether that's your mom or your peer group or the person on the magazine. And so you're attuning, what you should, quote unquote, should look like according to them, and you're judging your body in comparison to that. So it's really interesting. That's why we rewire the body circuit last. A lot of times it's the hardest for people. hmm Judging, protection. Yeah, both protection, judging. It's really, yeah, I hope that this is giving you some insight on some circuits that you can hopefully find someday. All right, let's move on to chronic stress, Brenda. Now, this is more related to what I call your physiological or your biochemical floor. So chronic stress always gives us a floor. You're never going to go below that weight. You're never going to go below that blood sugar and stay there. You're always going to come back to the floor based on your circuits. So another way to say that is you can weigh what your emotional brain allows you to weigh. You can be as healthy as your emotional brain allows you to be healthy because there's that floor with your circuits. So just check all that apply. Um, I'll modify the language a little bit if you need. So I didn't necessarily resonate with this one. I do not exist, but another way to say that that I did resonate with is I don't matter. So I do not exist or I don't matter. Do either of those resonate with you?
No,
Okay. I am bad.
no.
I do not have power,
Consciously? No, I don't believe that.
but unconsciously in your emotional brain,
Could be. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. I was like, even if you're pausing a little bit, it's worth exploring someday. I cannot do good.
no,
I cannot love.
no.
I am not worthy.
Yeah, probably.
I cannot have joy.
That's for sure.
Okay. And then trauma stress. So, when did you have stress overload or trauma? Circle all that apply. Any,
Um,
yeah, childhood.
and
I missed the first thing you said. Sorry. What did you say?
childhood.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, I don't recall adolescence, but early adult like years, yes. Later adult years. Uh, when when you're talking about trauma, is it when I feel something right now that is traumatically happening at this moment in my relationships and all that? Is that what you mean?
So trauma can be, they call it big T trauma or little T trauma, but it's essentially any a negative experience that happened to you that
Oh, got you. Okay,
it's a pretty
yes,
broad
now,
definition. Yeah.
yeah, now is right now, yes, something is
Okay.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so if you could think back, you said that you really struggle with what was it, sugar addiction and let's the stress eating on chocolate. Do you remember like when that started? Was it in a stressful period of time in your life?
Uh, Not particularly chocolate, but I wanted something that made me feel better. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I was sent to a boarding school because my parents were in Kuwait and they
Mm,
didn't have any schools. So that was a huge, huge trigger. It affected me for years and years and years,
mm.
not being able to be with my parents and my siblings.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's some trauma there, some emotional clutter there, some grieving, it sounds like, of time lost with your
Very
siblings and your
much, yeah.
parents. Yeah. So a lot of times as you're doing this brain map, especially for everybody listening, a lot of times people can go back and say, well, when did my weight issues start? When did my food issues start? Oh, yeah, it started during this really stressful period in my life. And so if you're having kind of that sort of connection or aha moment, type it in the chat. Be like, yes, I'm having that insight, or like any insight that you're having during this, like connecting the stress to the food or the body issues is really helpful. Okay. The last one is reward center. So I think we might have talked about this already, but which reward or rewards motivate you to complete, this is as if you were in EBT, but, to work on your emotional health, to rewire your brain. What's most rewarding to you?
I think the peace and power from within
Hmm.
and a life of joy and purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, those are two big ones for me too. Yeah,
I mean,
wonderful.
they're all lovely. It's
Hmm.
too bad I have to choose two or one or two,
You
but
can
they're
choose all
all,
of them.
yeah,
All of them.
all of
Like
them. Yeah.
that? Okay. So that's a brain map, guys. And what that does is just kind of gives you a starting place of connecting. Someone mentioned blood sugars in there too. It's like any stressful thing that has gone on altered your biochemistry, which altered your behavior, which ultimately led to health issues that you're struggling with today. So I hope that that kind of helped put the pieces together. And do you have any questions, Brenda, before we move on?
I just don't know how to use the app, what
Oh,
I should
yeah.
do.
Like the Spiral Up Light app.
Yes.
Okay, let me see. I'm just going to close that out, stop my sharing. Do you have it downloaded on your phone?
No, I'm not so good with it. So I was going to ask my son to help me.
Good. Yeah, ask your son to help you. And yesterday in the replay under day 2 in the resources, I did go ahead and take screenshots of all the pages of that app and I put them into a PDF. Are you able to like print that off or something like
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you were here, let's see. Yeah, we did it together. How you do it is you use it in situational stress. So, well, the situation is I'm stressed about getting my dentures, or I'm stressed about this, or I'm stressed because I want chocolate, or um, I'm I'm merged in this relationship. I'm stressed about this relationship. This is happening. And then you just go through the prompts. The situation is you're going to say what's bothering you in about 5 sentences. Remember, try to leave the feelings out of it because we want to ramp up the feelings through the anger procedure. And then you just go through the lead-ins. And that's it's so cool. It's like your brain naturally wants to be in joy. The app and like all the research that went into the cycles, like what we call them, it essentially just like gave that a process, codified the existing brain processes and put them in an app so that we can do that by ourselves. So that's how you use it when you're stressed out. And then the joy points too, which I'll create a resource for the joy points.
Wonderful. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I appreciate it.
Yes. Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you, guys. Any other questions about the brain map before we move on and talk about Zivli? Happy to answer any questions people have about the brain map. Okay, let's do it. So what I'm going to show you is our full Zivli program. Oh, how often is it advised, Laverne? Is that just like how often is cycling or joy points advised? Is that what you mean by that? You can collect as much joy as you want. If that's the question, the more joy, the better. Yep. Okay, so you can go to the app and you can do a cycle. Yep, or you can collect joy points. EBT is I'm actually, when we get to the course curriculum, I will show you the module that we have about EBT. And that is going to help you understand how do we learn this whole thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. So completing a brain map for increased self-knowledge. That's exactly correct. How often is it advised? Starting out. I mean, if you want, that's really all you need to do. It's like a starting point for your EBT journey. So, yep. Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you, show you the back end here. Escape. There. Okay. So our Zivli program, it was developed, it took me a long time to develop. Let's see. Here it is. It's essentially the back door to our website. It's an online course. It takes 12 weeks to go through, and it has group coaching as well with I coach, and I have a team of 4 coaches, I think. I think 4. We might have a couple more coming on in the new year. And I do weekly coaching with our members. We release one module at a time. And this course is a lifestyle medicine course. It's nowhere else online. And it's literally everything from a lot of research that I went into. I think there's over 300 references in this course material. It's really evidence-based. And it's everything that I wished my patients would have known. I wish my geriatric patients would have known 20 years earlier so that they could get healthy then and prevent the diabetes, prevent the heart disease, all of this stuff. that I saw. So when you go through the course curriculum, it really gets in depth on all of your lifestyle habits and what's optimal for, preventing and reversing insulin resistance. So let's go big picture of the course, okay? All the different modules. So when you join, because enrollment is open today, Beth can drop the join link in if you guys want to do it now. Now through Friday or until we hit 100 members, you're just going to see this onboarding process here. And each of these are lessons. So if you click on the lesson, it's really easy to use. And then you just click the play button. And then weekly action items. They're all pre-recorded video lessons that you can watch at your own pace and your own convenience. There's also an app that you can watch the lessons on the go. I don't really like sitting down and like watching things, but I do a lot of listening to course lessons when I'm driving or when I'm cooking or when I'm cleaning, that kind of stuff. So onboarding is what you get first. And then that is all you would get until January 7th when we start. So we're enrolling now so that you can make your decision and make your New Year's commitments now and not put it off until the new year. Okay. So this can be like a little Christmas present to yourself. And it's a really, really wonderful program. So then on January 7th, you would get this module 1 getting started. And the first thing that we start with is an EBT quick start lesson. So again, all of them are pre-recorded. You just click on it. And what I do in here is I walk you through the actual app. So not the light version of the EBT Spiral Up app. We give all of our members 6 months access to the EBT Spiral Up app. So you have access to all of the tools. And I teach you how to use that basic Spiral Up that we did the other day and joy points, because that's what I want you doing for like the first 12 weeks is just greasing those stress resilient pathways. And we'll talk about why that is, why that's so important for the first 12 weeks. There's also just kind of a guided check-in. So you know how every day I've been like, okay, turn your attention to your body and your breathing, take a deep breath. What's your brain state? That's pre-recorded here. So anytime you want like a guided check-in, that's right there for you. And we go into health data and interpretation. This is where we get in depth on cholesterol, looking at your blood work, being sure that you understand your numbers and that your doctor's not overlooking anything. I want to just click this open so you can see the depth of the content and then how we've organized information. So all of the lessons have audios, they have references, they have transcripts if you like to read, and very, very in-depth timestamps. Okay. So yes, very in-depth. So we talk a lot about LDL-C versus LDL-P, insulin resistance markers, all that good stuff. And then food tracking. So if you want to track your macronutrients, we will teach you how to do that. Another thing that we've added during this first week of January 7th is a small group onboarding call. So if the tech is like, I don't want to set all this up and that sounds stressful, kind of like Brenda was just saying, I'm not good at that. We can do it for you. So you just come to a call, it's included in the program, and it's kind of like done with you. We'll walk you through step by step. Okay, press this button and we can get you all set up. So that's really a nice addition to the program, is setting up the food tracking and setting up your macros and calories for you. Then we get into the fuel module. This is over 200 references. Took me a long time to write, a long time to do. So we split this up into 2 weeks because there's a lot of content here. The first is you're just learning about, well, what does it even mean to follow a low insulin lifestyle? Like, how do I eat to do that? We talk about micronutrients, which is especially important if you're plant-based because you're going to be missing out on some key nutrients you get just from animal foods. Hydration, including like electrolytes and how much to drink. And we had a question yesterday about diet pop. So all of those types of questions on like pop alternatives and stuff is in there. And then the next week we do carbohydrates. So carbs, proteins, fats. The carbohydrates lesson in and of itself is 50 minutes long. You can break it up. You don't have to watch it all at once, but like I think I spent like maybe 4 minutes on carbohydrates during this boot camp. There's a lot more to learn. And each week too, because you're going to have lots of questions. So each week we meet live for a group Q&A call. You also have the chance to click here and ask a coach. It's just like an online community right on our website. I'm not going to click into it just for the privacy of our members. I don't want one of their names to pop up and then this is recorded. So there is a place to ask a coach a question at any time. And then also kind of like a Facebook group, not on Facebook because I don't like Facebook, is a community chat where you can share your weekly wins and inspiration, recipes, and stuff like that. So after we look into the fuel, that's when we get into the intermittent fasting. And we look at the benefits, how to fast, and then a whole lesson on meal planning and prepping and answer any questions because everyone has different fasting schedules and routines, and they always have questions about that. Then we get into other lifestyle factors, including stress, sleep, and physical activity. Just so you kind of see the resources available to you. One of the things that we do are fun sheets for every lesson, for most of the lessons. And that's kind of like the Cliff Notes version of all the lessons. So chronic sleep deprivation, sleep disorders, sleep apnea symptoms and risk factors, and then a ton of tips to improve your sleep. So it's very, very easy for you to implement what you learn because we put all the super important stuff in fun sheets. Oh, there we go. Thank you for muting yourself. Oh, sorry. If you are, I think I need to mute all. There we go. Okay. I'm also going to prevent people from unmuting so that doesn't happen again. All right, going back into the course, scrolling down. Personal faith formula is next. And by the way, you don't have access to all of this up front because that's really overwhelming. So to just guard your attention and take you one step at a time, we just give you a little bit each week. But this is really important because this is like creating the future version of yourself that you really want to create. So everything is created twice, like first in our mind, then in reality. And this is a crowd favorite module, if you will. And included in the program is 2 one-on-one coaching calls with my team. And so the first coaching call is called a lifestyle audit. So you'll watch all the course stuff first on like the strategy side of things, nutrition, fasting, health data, exercise, sleep, and then they're going to audit your lifestyle and say, okay, this is where you're at. This is where you want to be with your health. These are the top 3 things that you can really do to optimize your health right now. So they'll look at your health data. If you have food tracking information that you want them to look over, they can do that. It's just a lovely, very supported, uh, very supportive team that we're creating and that we have created. I love all of our team members, and they serve our members really well. But the second coaching call is a mindset coaching call, and so during that, they can review your personal faith formula that you're going to write and give you feedback on what, just based on their experience, how can we make this even more powerful? And then that's a document that you read every single morning in your morning mindset routine. And it's literally like starting your day on offense instead of defense. You wake up and you're going to put on this, your personal faith formula glasses. You're reading it first thing to embed it in your brain. It's called auto suggestion right there. There's a whole lesson on it. And what that does is you're going to go throughout your day and you're going to be reminded because you did it first thing in the morning about, oh yeah, I did want to exercise today. Oh yeah, I did want to eat healthy today. Oh yeah, I did want to do 10 moments of joy today. So you're just really getting good at self-accountability at this point with that daily mindset routine and reading the personal faith formula to give your brain the instructions on what you want to do. And we're not just going to be passively going through life anymore. We're waking up with intention every day. All right, here comes the emotional brain training module. This is brand new. So our last cohort was September. And they were the first cohort to get EBT, and we got such amazing feedback. Everybody loves it. But it's long, as you can see. EBT is the longest module. And this So you can join EBT directly through their website, but we are the only like health coaching program out there that they've given permission to teach EBT independently. I work directly with Dr. Laura Mellon on the video scripts and the best structure to teach EBT. And I think this is a really, really good way to fast track your success with EBT. But even this module is not available if you just join EBT through them. It's only available in the Zivley course. So the first thing is the EBT big picture. Like I'm big on, okay, what's the big picture here? The science of it. And then going into the three-step process, step one is self-regulation. So this is where you're going to learn how to use the 5 tools based on the 5-point system. So if you're feeling great, there's a tool for that. If you're feeling good, there's a tool for that. A little stressed, definitely stressed, totally stressed out. They all have associated tools to train your emotional brain to move through the stress to the joy. That's what you learn in that lesson. Then the next week is when we get into the deeper rewiring work. I thought it was very important to give you an overview of the big 4 circuits and then a little bit more detail on food, mood, love, and body circuits. Because if you have an understanding of the wires, it's going to be easier to find them. They'll be more familiar in your mind. And then we talk about the rewiring process. So finding the wires, negating them, transforming them. EBT in action, and I'm going to add another lesson as well. I had a really great session helping someone find her food circuit, and so that's going to go in the course. These are mine. So discovering a mood circuit and discovering a love circuit, that is Dr. Mellon coaching me when I was doing provider training. Again, I like did EBT because I wanted to learn it to help others, and I had no idea I'd get such a great personal marriage, parenting benefit from it. And so I'm very, very vulnerable in these lessons. I'm getting really angry. They're all like audio recordings, and so that's fun. If you wanted to watch those, you can. The next step is advanced EBT, and that's really where instead of doing repair work in your brain, where we're rewiring those stress circuits and working on stress resilience, now we're doing the building work of building and strengthening joy circuits around sanctuary, authenticity, vibrancy, integrity, intimacy, spirituality, and freedom, so that you can be quote unquote wired at one or wired for joy and experience an abundance of all of those rewards. It's really, really amazing. And then we talk about, okay, all that's great. Now, how do we do it? How are we living out and incorporating EBT into our lifestyle? So you have your EBT prescription, EBT small group coaching. We talk about like connections and connecting messages, which if you've been here for all 3 days, you've heard me give people connecting messages after a cycle. And then just kind of a capstone, the 12 guidelines of EBT, kind of a summary lesson. So at the end of 12 weeks, you have the option to join EBT small group coaching through Zivley. And they're groups of like 4 to 6. I usually no more than 6 people. And we meet for an hour a week to do the work of the rewiring so that you can get the personalized coaching for finding your wires, for rewiring it. You'll have a group of connection buddies that you can connect with regularly to practice using the tools. So that is the EBT stuff. That's why it's important to practice the stress resilience pathways starting from day one, so that by the end of the 12 weeks, you're like, I'm ready to go. I am ready to find that food circuit. Let's go. And sometimes we do it even before then. Her name was Carolyn. Carolyn was like, I'm ready to find my food circuit, Morgan. I said, fantastic. So I think we did it during like week 10 or 11 or 12 of the program, just in the group coaching call, because it's beneficial for everybody. Okay, after that is the last module. This is the System for Success module, because I can tell you what to do. And unless you have a system of self-accountability, the chances that you're going to do it long term are kind of slim. So we're really big on developing the habit of self-accountability with a daily mindset routine. Rocks and action items are like monthly goals. We really suggest like one monthly goal and then a few action items behind it. So for example, if you join Zivley, your monthly goal for January would be go through the January course trainings. Your action items might be Carve out, an hour on Wednesday to do the trainings and an hour on Friday to do the trainings. So the action items support the goals. So we give you a really good structure. And then weekly and monthly meetings, that's more around like life planning and meal planning and proactively preventing the stress. And then Future You framework is a brand new lesson that I added this time as well. And that's about identifying your values. Like as a human being, what matters to you? This is a really great place. Like you've learned so much good information. Now it's time to implement. Where do you start? The Future You framework. You start with your schedule. And you start by identifying your values. So I take you through a values finding exercise. And then you identify your roles. Then you identify kind of like the big things in your schedule, like the non-negotiables. When are you going to sleep? When are you doing your morning mindset routine? When are you exercising? You're plugging that into your schedule and then the rest of the commitments because you will no longer come last. Your health will come first so that you can better show up for everyone else in your life. And then the next steps lesson is just us, telling you how you get ongoing support. Right now, we host twice a month group coaching calls. I do a mindset call once a month, and then my team members host a rock review once a month for more of like the strategy side of things. We might add more in the future. It depends on member demand. And then you get master classes as well. So five like 45-minute trainings about different topics that kind of put everything from the program together. They're really good. So, mastering your habits, ending emotional eating, lowering carb and sugar cravings, breaking weight loss plateaus, and then maintaining your weight loss. So, all of those group coaching calls are recorded and they're posted right here in the community within a couple of days. So, you can see those. Um, yeah, we have recipes there. We talked about the community chat and ask a coach, the course. EBT is worked into every single week. So while you're getting like a new course module each week, we're always doing check-ins. We're checking on joy points. We're looking at amazing learnings and we're practicing cycles, usually some sort of cycle pretty regularly. Um, Okay. Beth, did I miss? I think that's the program in general. Any questions about the program and what's included before I go over how to join? The other thing I wanted to show you was this exercise bank. Let's see. Because strength training is really important, but a lot of people don't really know how to get started. So I made this exercise bank. There's about 30 videos in here. It's like I'm your personal trainer at home, showing you just how to get started and safely progress a strength training routine. So if you open up like the squats video, for example, this is my basement. In the 100-year-old farmhouse. We have a nice little workout area down there. And so it's me showing you how to do it right, how to make it easier, how to make it harder, how to add it weights, whatever you want. But it's a really, really nice resource, that strength training exercise bank. Okay, I'm going to stop the share. Actually, I'm just going to go back here and open the chat. Beth, are there any specific questions that you have not answered in the chat? I'll just let you answer me.
There were a couple questions about kind of like general strategy concepts, but nothing specifically about like the Zivley program.
Okay. And I'm guessing you added those to the Q&A.
Yes.
Okay. Let me stop my share and I will answer those first before moving on. Day 3. Okay, if you have like the fatty liver one and the fruits, are those ones you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. If you have fatty liver, can you still do the 60 or 55% macros for reversal or prevention of diabetes? Absolutely. Fatty liver is not caused by dietary fat. It is caused by excessive triglycerides caused by eating too much sugar. So too much sugar causes non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, not too much dietary fat. Barb, does fruit sugar cause the same like reaction as sugar? Barb, that's a really good question. I think it's important to consider the food matrix. Like if you're just going to have 10 grams of sugar, say a few teaspoons of sugar from table sugar, there is nothing else besides sugar there. There's no vitamins, there's no fiber. And so that's going to have a worse response for your blood sugar and your inflammation than if you got 10 grams of sugar from apple, per se. However, they both will affect your blood sugar. So I do not ascribe to the Weight Watchers philosophy that fruit is free. Fruit is not free. You just have to wear a continuous glucose monitor and watch your numbers after you eat fruit. You're going to see your blood sugar go up. But we have to look at it in context of the food matrix, not just strictly macronutrients or calories. Very important. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and walk you through how to join. Let's see. That's fine. So Beth, will you drop the join link in again? This is the join page. Let me move this out of the way. And what you do, you can read through all of it if you care to read, but you pretty much know everything at this point. Or you can just select join Zivly now. But I wanted to show you just a couple of things, just in case you're looking through this maybe later on today and you're like, well, what was in the curriculum again? Let me show you. If you kind of scroll down to this big Zivly logo here, that means you're getting close. And just what's inside Zivly. You can click right here, click to view curriculum and schedule. And then that's going to pop open exactly what I just showed you on the inside of the course. So if you're like me and you like to plan, this helps you understand what your schedule might be like for the next 12 weeks and what to plan on from a week by week basis. So I think that's helpful for people that really like to see the nitty-gritty details. But otherwise, you can just scroll down and click Join Zivly today. And then HSA and FSA cards are accepted. We have two payment options. You can do monthly installments. It's 12 monthly installments of $247. There are no ongoing subscription fees. Okay. No ongoing subscription fees. That means that after the 12 weeks, you still have access to all the course. You still have access to our coaches to ask questions, to our community to engage. You're still going to be invited to coaching calls twice a month for life with no subscription fees on any of that. Okay. We do include 6 months access to the EBT Spiral Up app. Okay. After the 6 months, then you can just choose. It's pretty cost effective, honestly. It's like you're going to want to pay for it. It's not very much money. But if you want to choose to use those tools through the app, then you would then continue that subscription on your own. Now, this will save you about $467. It's the best value. It's one payment of $24.97. You get the exact same experience with either payment plan. Okay. If you've purchased one of our products in the past, like Macros Made Simple or our insulin resistance diet blueprint, or if you've been around even longer than that, we used to have an insulin resistance starter course, our recipe bank, you can have a coupon code for the amount of your purchase to go towards the program. So if you want that coupon code, email support@zivly.com and we can get that to you. You're also going to get emails either today or tomorrow with the coupon code, but sometimes they end up in spam and promotion. So I always like to say, if you know you want to join, email support so that we can get you that coupon code. So let's just say that you want to start with this one. Oh, also, this is important. This is a commitment-based program. We do not offer refunds. We don't have people ask for refunds. So really, if you do the work, it's going to work, and we are here to support you. So I think it's important to come into this program with that 100% commitment and look for every reason to make this work, not have something like hanging over your head as a reason why it might not work. Okay, so we want you to be fully committed, and I want to tell you that up front because we're fully committed to you. All right, so you can click on that start button, and then that'll take you to this checkout page. Now, these blue lines are not actually there. That's just, if you see that on your side, that's just someone who touched the Zoom screen. I don't know why it does that. And then you can click which payment option you want. If you want to send it as a gift to someone, you can. Give it a gift to yourself. This is a really important thing is your health and those higher purpose rewards that we've been talking about. And I really believe we have the best health coaching program out there and the most loving, caring team. So if you are looking for a solution, I really hope that you consider this one because it's a really good one. Again, if you have a discount code or the coupon code from a previous purchase, you would put it in there and then click apply. We accept lots of different payment stuff like PayPal. That's just our Zivly member agreement. Nothing that you don't already know in there. So you would click I accept and then you would pay whichever your payment plan. And then after that, you're taken to this thank you and welcome page. So there's a little video from me and a couple special messages from our members who, I asked, okay, if you could tell new members, something, what would you tell our new members? So that's kind of fun. Message from me, a message from several of our members. And then it says, check your email. We just sent you onboarding instructions. We're so big. We're so big on trying our best to create a really, really positive, structured, organized experience for you because we know getting healthy can be overwhelming. And we want to walk you through step by step by step and just almost like we're holding your hand virtually. And we try our best to anticipate your questions to reduce your stress. So we send a really nice onboarding email. It says, congratulations, we're honored and thrilled that you joined Zivly. Acknowledge yourself. And then we kind of walk you through how to log into the course, a required new member form. There's just like a consent form. And this is where you would book your small group onboarding call with one of our health coaches. Very, very recommended if you don't feel comfortable with the tech, so we can get the app set up for you. And then you can click here to subscribe to our new member Q&A calls calendar. And that gets all of those 12 calls right on the calendar so you don't have to go looking for links and stuff like that. We have a nice, robust onboarding manual that walks you through the curriculum and the schedule and coaching stuff and the coaching calls that we talked about and EBT small group coaching down the road. So we really do our best to give you not only a great result, but a great experience and a great community of people to do it with. So, Beth, did you have anything else? Beth is my right-hand gal. If you haven't been around too long, I'll reference Beth a lot. Beth, do you have anything else that I'm missing out on sharing with people?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, I have one. Sometimes just asking Beth makes me remember what I'm forgetting. We do have a 2-for-1 option. So a lot of women especially want to get healthy, not just for them, but they want their spouse to get healthy too. And so we do require you to live at the same address. We don't care if you're married or not, but this isn't something for your sister, for your best friend. This is something for your partner where you share a bank account because that's really what's most fair. And if you join and you want your partner to do it too, then you just email support@zivly.com, email us their name, their email address, and their physical mailing address. And then on the back end, we can grant them access to the program. So they have their own login because it kind of tracks where you're at on the videos. So it'll go back. It's kind of nice to see what you've done. And that way you're not confused. Did I go through that lesson? Did I not? So that kind of keeps it separate. And it's free for them. So we really, really care about you and about your family. And we know that sometimes one of the stressors is just trying to explain what you're learning to your partner. And it's a lot easier for them just to watch the videos themselves. So if you want to use the 2-for-1 deal, that is available for you. Okay. I think that that's all.
One other thing would be
Sure.
accountability partners. We didn't really mention that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so accountability partners are available as well. It's optional, and I'll show you. Thank you, Beth. Okay, so right here in the onboarding process, lesson 4 is accountability partner. And if you click on that, I kind of walk you through the process of how to get paired with another Zivly member for accountability. And this is about a 12-week commitment on a weekly basis. You can text each other, you can call each other, you can do a Zoom or a FaceTime. We connect you via email. So you just fill out this form right here. I'm not going to click on it because I don't know if there's any information in there that we haven't cleared out from the last cohort yet. And there's a little fun sheet here. We can kind of pop that open to learn more. So we talk about what are they, how to be connected, and then some discussion prompts. So you can share joy points with each other. You can practice the EBT cycles with each other. But yeah, first and foremost, you and your partner are the topic. We want this to be a place for self-reflection, self-study, accountability, and growth. So you guys are the topic. And again, we ask for a weekly commitment for 12 weeks. And then after, just to get through the course content, because that's the goal. You can't implement what you don't learn. So we have a really heavy emphasis on supporting you really heavily, high touch point for the first 12 weeks to get you through the course. Because I don't know about you, but I've definitely signed up for things before and I didn't have accountability and then I didn't make good on my money. And that bothered me. So we know that this is an investment and we want to make the most of that investment for you. So we have structured in different layers of support throughout the experience. Now, again, you and your accountability partner can continue on or not. If you decide to do an EBT small group down the road, you have connection buddies. And so the connection buddies are like 4 to 6 people, 4 to 5 other people in your group that you can call anonymously through the EBT app. And that's then how you're going to do connections on a regular basis. Now, there was one more thing as we were talking about that, but now I forgot. Beth, did anything spark your mind?
I might have missed it because I'm answering questions and trying to listen at the same time, but did you mention the included one-on-one calls as well?
I did mention those. Yeah, so there's 2 one-on-one calls included. You can purchase more one-on-one calls a la carte. I think they start at $100 for 30 minutes or something like that. And if you want like a food tracking call or a mindset call or a strategy call, kind of different types of calls based on your needs is how we've set it up. I know that there's something. I'm probably going to remember it after we hop off. Hmm. I don't remember. Okay, I'm gonna go for this. Oh, good. So Cheryl said, Dr. Morgan, Beth, Karen, I think she means our customer support person. Thanks so much for this wonderful webinar. As I mentioned, this was one of the best webinars I've ever attended. That was my goal. The program is truly incredible. Thank you so much, Cheryl. God's blessing to you all. Best of luck to the participants. I hope everyone has a beautiful and grateful Christmas season. That was a nice one. Great. Okay. So to wrap it up, I don't think that there's other questions that I need to answer. I want to hear an amazing learning from just the boot camp in general. Like, what was the biggest thing that you learned from this boot camp? I would really love to hear that. Just pop that in the chat and then we will do an EBT group close. I'm just going to check the Q&A doc, be sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, all of the amazing learnings are done. Like, I already put my amazing learnings in. Okay, good. Nicole said EBT is so powerful and I can't wait to practice it. We can't wait either. Okay, Kim said integrative solutions, the emotional aspect, EBT training. Yeah, I found the scientific information regarding stress fascinating. I now have a very good understanding of what insulin resistance is and how it affects the cells in our bodies. I can heal on many levels. Yeah, that's super powerful. Yep. Okay. Yeah, the process about EBT training. All right, so who wants to do our close? Carolyn, hi. I want you to do our close. Wait, why don't you just say a couple words? I didn't even know you were here. Will you just pop on and kind of give your experience as a Zivley member and EBT? Guys, this was not planned. I'm putting her on the spot. Oh, I have to allow you to unmute yourself. That's me. That's me, not you. How fun. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, she did it.
Um, I don't know if I can say it without crying. I just encourage people to really consider Zivley because the growth that I've been able to receive, especially through EBT since September, has changed a 45-year marriage. And it's the marriage I always wanted, and it was that love was there deep down, but to experience it is almost scary now because there's so many there have been so many dances that we've done. But the interesting thing is the healing is happening for both of us. And I have to tell you that my husband is going to start EBT. There,
Yeah, we were talking about that this morning as a team.
yes, he is so excited about it because he sees the
Yes.
change from September to now for me, the change in our relationship. We've also shared it with our children who are all adults, and it's exciting. My son, who owns his own business, told me yesterday, he said, Mom, I do a spiral up every half hour. I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And it is just life transforming. And for me, I've shared it with two people that are on the meeting, and one of them, when she started doing EBT just about 4 weeks ago, she ended up losing 2 pounds in a week
Oh
without
my God.
ever exercising, just doing what she's doing, but lowering her stress. And the other thing is she leads a meeting, and it was hilarious because she got feedback that she was too joyful.
Like, oh,
And
look at
it's
me.
just been such a grace for me, and it's putting all the pieces together for me, and I just really appreciate it. And I appreciate the entire team and all the work they do for us. So it's
Thank
the
you.
best investment we could have ever made in our marriage, in our home.
Right. Yeah, thank you. That's amazing. I didn't even know there were lots of people here, so I didn't even check to see if like any members were on here. I don't know if there's anyone else. If there's anyone else that wants to say anything, they are welcome to come off of mute. Carolyn, thank you for that. That was fun. Thanks for being here and for just your work. You're the one that's putting in the work and inspiring others. And I think it's so, 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 so cool to see the ripple effect because you're changing yourself, which inspired your husband to change. It's inspiring your children to change, which will, in fact, change your grandchildren. We are raising a different generation who will be wired for joy because we are wired for joy. It's incredible. So that ripple effect is huge. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much. Um, I know why I wanted to call on you in the first place was what are we co-creating today, Carolyn?
We are creating joy and connection.
I love it. Okay, everybody come off of mute. And I hope to see you all next Tuesday at the weight loss webinar. You'll get email reminders about that. That'll be fun to get together again. So, on the count of three, we are creating joy and connection in our lives today. One, two, three. We
We
are
are
We're
creating
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 joy
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 and
and
creating
and
connection in our
connection
connection
in
lives
in
our
in
our
our
lives
today.
lives
lives
today.
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 Thank you guys. I hope to see many of you on the inside of Zivly. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
You.
you.
Yes.